Hello class, I'm Professor Thaddeus. As you can tell from my teaching degree, I am a real teacher and definitely not a crazy person who broke into the janitor's closet. Let me be the first to congratulate you for signing up for this course. You are now tens of $1,000s in debt, so I sincerely hope you learn a lot. Oof, all this teaching's making me tired. I think that's enough for me today. I gotta get back to playing WarioWare, you know. Anyway, we're gonna show you a video today. I don't know what it's about, probably something cool. Make sure you take notes though, because we are going to quiz you at the end. Enjoy the video. Whether you're in college, elementary, or anything in between, the first day of school is never easy. It's stressful, it's embarrassing, but it can also be very exciting. New friends, new teachers, new schools. But there is also a lot to worry about. What if none of my friends are in this class? What if my teacher's mean? What if I have the weird creaky chair? What if I spend 20 minutes looking for my class, can't find my class anywhere, give up, ditch class, go to a different class that my friend is in, and just tell the teacher I was supposed to be there? Yeah, that happened. What if I forgot to pack actual school supplies and I only packed UB Funkies? I think the thing I always looked forward to the least was the part in every class where the teacher says, alright, we're gonna go around and have everybody introduce themselves. Being put on the spot and having to make yourself sound interesting to a class full of people you don't know, believe it or not so fun. And it's not like you even learn anything about anyone anyway. Everyone just says the most generic things about themselves.
My name's Bobby and I like pizza.
Well, my name's David, and well, I like watching TV.
Hi, I'm Tad and I like to draw.
Once you get to middle and high school, it's so much worse. It's the same thing, but you're in 7 or 8 different classes, so you have to do that 7 or 8 different times. My senior year, I took a Spanish class, and we had to introduce ourselves in Spanish before I had learned any Spanish. That was fun. But once you get to college, introductions are even harder.
My name is Bobby. Right now, a lot of my time is dedicated to running my local animal shelter, but I plan on transferring to medical school so I can become a doctor, you know.
Yes, my name's David. I'm studying marine biology as a field that's run in my family for generations. In my spare time, I'm usually found doing community volunteer work. Peasants.
Hi, I'm Tad and I like to draw.
I took a psychology course my last semester of college before I decided to drop out to work on my 2-year passion project, Ears of the West. In this class, we had to get with a partner, talk for 5 minutes, and then introduce each other in front of the entire class.
This adds so much pressure. First of all, you have to talk to somebody. Second of all, the stakes are so much higher. Before, you only had to worry about making yourself sound like a complete idiot, but now you might make the person you're sitting next to all semester sound like an idiot and accidentally ruin any chance they might have of making friends with anyone in that class.
Why? But of course, none of this matters if you can't find your class to begin with. As you can probably guess, I wasn't very good at that.
I have so many horror stories about getting lost in various schools, starting way back in kindergarten even. It was the very first day of school and our class was on our way to our very first lunch. You know the deal, the class lines up in front of the bathroom when they're done, and after everyone's in line, they're led off to lunch. My first day of kindergarten was, I believe, my first time wearing a belt. I had my mom help me with it the morning of, and after going to the bathroom, I couldn't figure out how to get the belt on myself. I was stuck in the stall for a while trying to get it. I was a very nervous kid, and back then I didn't like asking for help. Almost 2 decades later, nothing has changed, but that's besides the point. After a while in the stall, I knew I wasn't going to be able to figure out that belt. I gave in, and I went out to ask my teacher for help. And the hallway was empty. They had gone off to lunch without me. I didn't know what to do. I stood around for a minute to see if anyone would come by, but nobody did. I didn't know where the cafeteria was, but I decided to try to find my class. Keeping in mind that I'd never figured out my belt, so I just wandered the empty halls with my pants down, carrying my Merrill lunchbox. Eventually, a very confused teacher found me, helped me with my belt, and took me to find my class. If my kindergarten teacher somehow finds this video, you were seriously one of the coolest teachers I ever had. I hope you don't feel bad about this. It made for a great story. I was terrified when starting middle school. I was now taking like 7 classes, all in different places around this huge building. I was so scared of getting lost or going to the wrong class. During the open house before the school year started, I had the chance to find where all of my classes were. I practiced a couple of times going to them in order, and I tried hard to remember it. Do you remember those old Travelocity commercials where it showed the back of the garden gnome and it was just moving through to different locations? I literally had dreams just like this during the weeks leading up to middle school, where I was looking at a still picture of me from behind, just moving around the school going from class to class. Thank you, Travelocity, for making sure I could find my classes. When I moved to England and started high school, I learned they did things a bit differently. You didn't know your classes, teachers, anything until the morning of your first day, about 10 minutes before you go to your first class. There were like 5 or 6 huge buildings and nothing was labeled. So yes, in 10th grade, I spent about 10 minutes trying to find my science class and I couldn't find it anywhere. The bell was about to ring, so I decided to ditch class and go hang out with my friend in his class instead, and I just told the teacher I had been switched to that one. Not my fault, you should have labeled your rooms.
If I'm being completely honest, the first day of school is usually just pretty tedious. It's the teachers explaining the class rules and procedures in some terrible PowerPoint for 40 minutes like no other class has it. Like this.
Hello, students. Welcome to my class. I'm sure we're going to have a great year together. Now let's get started with some rules and procedures. From the moment you step into this classroom, you are no longer permitted to speak unless I say otherwise. I will not tolerate such rudeness in my classroom. I have a very strict homework policy. I will not accept it late, and you will be severely punished for not doing it. I do not tolerate any bullying in this class. Got that, dum-dums? If you bully, you're also breaking the no talking rule, so that will be a double punishment. No phones are allowed in this classroom either. If you run out of things to do, stare at the wall for the rest of class. A phone being outside a pocket for even a millisecond is the single most vile act possible of a human being. Anyway, I think this is going to be a great year. I'm really excited to have you all in my class.
Imagine that, but way longer, and about 7 or 8 times in a row. It's very cool.
Teachers can really make or break a class for you. If they have Garfield posters all over the room, you're in for a great year. If the teacher starts cawing like a bird for no apparent reason, it'll be an interesting year for sure. At least the bird teacher was consistent. In 8th grade, I had this teacher who seemed like he was going to be pretty terrible on the first day, and sure enough, he was for most of the year. The guy was always getting up in kids' faces and screaming. He was throwing desks. He was throwing all kinds of stuff. Anyway, one day, he started off very calm and quiet, standing in the middle of the room, and we all knew what that meant.
Class, I have something to show you all today.
The whole class was dead silent, as if everybody was bracing themselves. And then he pulls up I Can Swing My Sword by Tobuscus on YouTube and plays it for us.
Have you guys seen this? This is hilarious.
The moral is, if you have a teacher who seems bad, they probably are, but if you're lucky, someday they might bait and switch you with a funny Minecraft video. The last thing I want to talk about today is probably the scariest and hardest thing you'll have to deal with on your first day. Making new friends.
If you're in very early elementary school, it's pretty simple. Just walk up to the nearest kid and say, "Hey, do you like Pokemon?" Or whatever you're most into. If they say yes, you're in. If not, say, "Okay," and just keep moving kid to kid until you get a yes. It's that easy. In kindergarten, there was a kid who didn't know what the Muppets was, and I'm pretty sure I never spoke to him again. Once you get to middle and high school, things become a lot harder. You can't just walk up to somebody and start talking to someone because they'll think you're a weirdo. But you can't just sit there and not talk to somebody because they'll think you're a weirdo.
I hope you're taking AP math classes because there are so many mathematical and scientific equations you'll need to solve just to talk to people in high school. That's because most high schoolers are terrible.
These are what I call the blank out and just draw Comic Cat years of school. But once you get to college, things really do become a lot easier again. You simply walk up to the nearest person and say, "Hey, do you like Pokemon?" Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I've talked about a lot of things in this video today. I know preparing for the first day of school is very stressful, it's very overwhelming, I've told a lot of horror stories today, but there's only really one thing that you need to keep in mind. One thing that'll get you through the day no problem. All you really have to do... Oh shoot, video got all messed up. I mean, you watched most of it, I don't think you missed anything important. Well, regardless, I think it's time for your quiz now.
Hey, open it up!
They found me.